So I'm not for a second going to try and convince you that big arms will make a big deadlift. However, intelligent arm training can help limit the drawbacks of the deadlift itself. So one of the big things is that the deadlift is an absolute compression monster. Just because of the amount of load we can use and the fact we have to create that load without any kind of yield to start off, meaning we're starting dead from the floor, we just compress all over. So this is an example where we might want to do a lot of the zone 1 expansion exercises, a lot like your spider curls or your push downs. But alternatively, if you're someone who deadlifts with an over-under grip, there are some drawbacks to this that we need to be able to address, and we can use arm training to do it. Because I have supinated one side and pronated the other, I'm suggesting my body turns towards the supinated side. Now, when you're under heavy load, you don't want your body to actually turn, so your body's going to compress over this turned position. So what we need to do is use our arm training to hopefully try and turn us back the other way, or just help us make sure we're able to expand and compress both sides independently. This is where something like an alternating dumbbell curl or an alternating spider curl comes really, really in handy. Secondly, there's an actual risk with over-under gripping of tearing a bicep. Generally, this will occur when a lifter is incapable or forgets to lock out their tricep and use their tricep alongside their lat to extend that shoulder. If that's you, then something like a tricep push down in this hinge back position could be really, really beneficial. Regardless of the arm itself though, let's look at what the pelvis has to do in a deadlift. Basically, with any hip hinge, we're characterized by a pelvis going backwards. In this, we have to access what we call a rotating pelvis, or basically a pelvis that compresses posteriorly and expands anteriorly. To try and get that effect, we can do a lot of arm exercises seated, which puts us into zone 2 of hip flexion. If you see someone squat their deadlift, so they look like this, basically they're incapable of nutating their pelvis to send it backwards, so they're an example of someone who might need to do a lot of seated arm variations. Similarly, if you see someone who rounds their back in the deadlift, again, that's their body substituting true nutation to send the pelvis backwards, and they too would probably benefit from arm exercises where their hips are positioned to zone 2 of flexion. Finally, what you could also do with a tricep push down, for example, is elevate the toes and sit back into that strong hinge. Now we're really trying to just gain positional specificity to practice the hinge position as we lock out our tricep like we need to do in a proper deadlift.